What if I told you there's a kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix? You rest, you cancel plans, you take time off, but you still wake up feeling like your body's heavy or your brain's filled with fog. You start forgetting things, leaving your keys in strange places, and thinking, am I losing my mind? This was me. I genuinely thought I was developing early onset dementia, but it turned out it wasn't dementia. It wasn't just being a tired mum, it was autistic burnout. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe and tap the notification bell. It really helps the channel and our community grow. Today we're going to talk about something that so many autistic people experience, but often don't have the words for, and that's autistic burnout. I'll walk you through the 10 signs you've hit autistic burnout, what it actually feels like, and share what helped me recover after thinking something was seriously wrong. Before I knew I was autistic, I hit a wall. I was constantly losing things, my car keys especially. I'd switch handbags, forget where I'd put them, or sometimes even just leave them in the car. At first I thought it was just mum brain, but then the forgetfulness turned into something deeper. I started feeling mentally foggy, like my thoughts were wrapped in cotton wool. I'd go to say something, and halfway through I'd completely lose the word, and my speech slowed down. I'd stare into space mid-sentence. I was exhausted, not tired from lack of sleep, but something that went all the way down into my bones. When I told my doctor, who's absolutely lovely, she said, "You're probably just exhausted from being a mum." And that did kind of make sense, but the thing was, it didn't stop. I rested, I ate better, I tried to manage the stress, but I still felt like my brain was shutting down. It wasn't until my daughter was diagnosed autistic. She was the second one of my kids to be diagnosed. And I started seeing myself in everything that I was researching. That's when I realized I was autistic too. And then it clicked. What I'd been going through for months wasn't burnout in the usual sense, it was autistic burnout. What autistic burnout is? Autistic burnout is more than being overwhelmed. It's a complete depletion of mental, emotional, and physical resources. It happens after months or years of pushing yourself beyond your limits, constantly adapting, masking, and trying to function in environments that don't support your brain. It's your body and mind saying, "We can't keep doing this." You don't just feel tired, you lose access to abilities that are normally there. Things like communication, memory, sensory tolerance, and emotional regulation all crash at once. And the tricky thing? From the outside, you might still look fine. People might think you're coping because you're showing up, but inside, you're completely burned out. Now let's go through the 10 biggest signs you might be in autistic burnout, and I'll explain each one in detail because it can look different for everyone. Before we get into point 1, I just wanted to explain why this section of the video looks completely different from the rest of the video. I accidentally deleted the footage for point 1, so here I am redoing it. Number 1, deep, unrelenting exhaustion. This isn't just being tired after a long day, it's total system shutdown. You wake up tired, you go to bed tired, and no amount of sleep, coffee, or self-care seems to touch it. For me, it felt like every cell in my body was heavy. I'd walk up the stairs and feel like I'd just run a marathon. Even small tasks like answering a text or loading the dishwasher felt like climbing a mountain. And the thing is, it's not because you're lazy or unfit. It's because your nervous system has been running on emergency mode for too long. When you finally crash, your body's energy reserves are completely drained. Number 2, loss of everyday skills. You might find that simple daily tasks suddenly feel impossible. Cooking, cleaning, getting dressed, organizing your day. It all starts to break down. I remember standing in my kitchen staring at the fridge, unable to figure out what it is I was supposed to do next. My brain just froze. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't avoiding things, I literally couldn't process the steps. This happens because executive functioning, the part of your brain that organizes, plans, and sequences actions, takes a huge hit during burnout. Your brain is redirecting all the energy to survival mode, so everything else gets downgraded. Number 3, word finding difficulties and language loss. One of the scariest symptoms for me was losing words. I'd start a sentence and suddenly forget what I was saying. Or I would know what I wanted to say, but I couldn't get the words out. Sometimes I would just stammer or stop talking entirely. It made me feel silly, even though deep down I knew I wasn't. I was just overloaded. This happens because language processing requires a lot of brain energy. When you're in burnout, the brain starts shutting down high-demand functions like speech to conserve resources. It's like your system goes into low-power mode. Number 4, forgetfulness and cognitive fog. You might start losing things constantly, forgetting appointments or walking into rooms and having no idea why you're there. It's frustrating, embarrassing, and it feeds into that feeling of, what's wrong with me? I'd lose my train of thought mid-conversation, misplace items I had just been holding, or I'd forget things I'd written down seconds before. My short-term memory just wasn't working. This is another executive functioning issue. Your working memory becomes unreliable when your brain is overwhelmed. It's like your mind's filing system is jammed and you can't retrieve information when you need it. Number 5, heightened sensory sensitivity. In burnout, everything feels dialed up. Noises are louder, lights are brighter, textures are rougher. Even smells you normally tolerate might make you feel physically sick. For me, shopping centres became unbearable. The bright lights, the chatter, the constant background music, it all hit at once and felt like my brain was being electrocuted. Even the feeling of certain fabrics on my skin started to drive me crazy. This happens because your sensory filters, the mechanisms that normally help your brain decide input to pay attention to, stop working properly. So everything floods in at once. Number 6, emotional flatness or numbness. When you're burned out, it's not just your body that shuts down, your emotions do too. You might not feel sadness, excitement, joy, or anger. You might just feel blank. I remember sitting in front of a show I normally loved and feeling nothing. I didn't even care enough to keep watching. And it wasn't that I didn't have feelings, it was that I was too drained to feel them. Your brain does this as a form of protection. When emotional processing becomes too overwhelming, it temporarily turns down the volume, just so you can survive. Number 7, social withdrawal. If you find yourself avoiding people, even those you love, it might be burnout. Texting back, talking on the phone, or seeing friends can suddenly feel impossible. During my burnout, I started ignoring messages and cancelling plans just because I couldn't handle the extra stimulation. Even small talk felt like another demand I just couldn't meet. Now, this isn't because you don't care about people. It's because your social battery is completely depleted. Your brain needs solitude to recover from the constant processing it does during social interactions. Number 8, loss of interests and motivation. Autistic people often have strong special interests that brings us joy and comfort, but in burnout, even those fade. I remember trying to engage with something that I normally loved and feeling absolutely nothing. That scared me because those interests were usually my happy place, but it is temporary. When your brain is overloaded, even enjoyable things require energy you simply don't have. Your passions do come back when your system has enough time to rest and reset. Number 9, physical pain and illness. Autistic burnout doesn't just affect your mind, it hits your body too. You might develop headaches, nausea, muscle tension, dizziness, or stomach issues. During my last burnout, I felt constantly sore and stiff, like I'd been clenching my muscles all day. It's because stress hormones stay elevated for too long, keeping your body in a constant fight or flight state. You might also get sick more often because your immune system weakens when your nervous system is overworked. And lucky last, number 10, feeling like you've lost yourself. Now this is the one that hits the hardest, I think. You start to wonder who you are without all the roles and routines. You can't access your sense of humour, your creativity, your spark. I remember thinking, where did I go? I didn't feel like myself anymore. I was just existing. But that feeling doesn't mean you've lost who you are. It means your authentic self is buried under exhaustion. You're still there, You're just resting beneath the weight of survival mode. So why does autistic burnout happen? Autistic burnout doesn't come out of nowhere. It's the result of long-term chronic strain. The biggest contributors are masking, where you're constantly pretending to be neurotypical even when it's exhausting, ignoring sensory needs, pushing through noise, light, or textures that overwhelm you, lack of downtime, never giving your brain proper recovery time, life transitions, big changes like moving, which is when my last burnout happened, when we were moving, parenting, or job stress. And then there's societal pressure, being told to just cope in environments not built for us. For me, it was years of pushing myself trying to be the capable mum, the friendly person, the one who keeps it all together. Without realizing that my brain was constantly in overdrive. Autistic burnout is what happens when the effort to appear fine finally outweighs the energy you have to keep doing it. So I'm going to tell you what helped me. Recovery takes time. Unfortunately, there's no quick fix, but there is healing. And there's a version of you on the other side who feels more grounded, self-aware, and authentic. So here's what helped me. Number 1, realizing it wasn't my fault. Naming it changed everything. Once I knew it was autistic burnout, I could finally stop blaming myself. Number 2, resting. And I mean truly resting. Not resting while feeling guilty, real rest. Letting the house be messy, saying no to things, and doing absolutely nothing without shame. Number 3, lowering sensory input. I wore soft clothes, kept the lights dim, and reduced noise as much as possible. I treated my environment like a healing space. Number 4, unmasking. I stopped forcing eye contact, let myself stim, and communicated in ways that felt natural, even if that meant going quiet for a while. Number 5, connecting with other autistic people. Now that was huge. Hearing others describe the exact same symptoms and emotions made me feel less alone and less broken. And slowly, piece by piece, I came back to myself. The fog lifted and my energy returned. I could think clearly again. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. If this sounds like you, please know you're not broken. You're not lazy, you're not failing, you're simply overwhelmed and your body is asking for a break. Autistic burnout is real. It's a neurological response to a world that often demands more from us than we can safely give. You don't need to push through. You need rest, compassion, and time. And if no one's told you today, you're doing your best, and that's enough. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. It really does help our community grow. And if you've experienced autistic burnout, I'd love for you to share it in the comments, what it looks like for you, and what helped you get through it. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Thanks for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.